Hello and welcome to the Climbing Daily Friday Gear Show. Today we're in Innsbruck in Austria at the climbing wall to check out the preview of a new product. Now Black Diamond have asked us here and they're showing off their new Air harness. Now why is this special? Well, it's been specifically designed for high-end competition and sport climbing. So athletes such as Adam Ondra, Fanny Gibert, they'll be wearing this harness if they qualify for the Olympics. Now this climbing wall is a good place to come and talk about harnesses because it seems like most of the international teams are here practicing for the upcoming lead season. But I'm here to meet Colin, who is the category director at Black Diamond for climbing.
Yes.
You have a new harness that you're holding in your hand.
Yes, sir. The new AirNet harness being released in the spring of 2020.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. You've got a lot of harnesses within your range.
Yep.
Why did you feel the need to create something this fast, this light?
So we really went, we were really thinking about the Olympics with this. We were working with Adam Ondra and our athlete team, and we really wanted a high-end sport climbing and competition harness, and that's where we landed with the AirNet.
So I'm presuming everything's stripped down, it's very minimal, because these guys don't necessarily need to rack a bunch of gear on it. All they're doing is walking up to a comp wall and trying to send it.
Exactly. I mean, we wanted to make this lightweight, but that wasn't the key feature. We really wanted to balance really lightweight. It does have real deal gear loops in the front and then little lightweight webbing guides in the back. Some comp climbers even cut the gear loops off. They don't even need, because they're not carrying anything, of course, right? But we wanted to make it lightweight, comfortable, and breathable. And that's what this AirNet technology does. It's almost like a hammock or a fishnet where you can push and pull the shape of the material. It's a Dynex structural webbing in there. And then it's sandwiched with this outer abrasion-resistant shell and then this inner comfortable piece. And the net result is you can breathe right through it. So it's super breathable.
Is this something you've invented or was it already out there in some form?
Our design team worked with the factory and kind of came up with this together, yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about some of the features on here. I'm expecting not a huge amount because it's stripped back, but then presumably there are difficulties and technicalities you have to deal with because of that.
Exactly. So comfort was key, like I said. So it's pretty wide and comfortable and breathable. The gear loops I already mentioned. Really minimal elastic straps at the back, non-adjustable because you don't need it. The leg loops are the exact same construction as the waist belt. We have this no-sew edge technology, so there's not a seam here that's going to rub against you on your legs or your waist. And one of the coolest things we came up with is called this infinity belay loop. So this belay loop is seamless, which everyone asks, how did you guys do that? And I just say, well, it's magic. But it is seamless, so you avoid the dreaded belay loop shift of a normal belay loop that's sewn and it has a seam, and if you're sitting on a draw dogging a route and then you get the heart attack. Yeah. So this is a really cool feature of this harness.
It reminds me of one of those Christmas things. You know, I used to get given them and with rings within rings.
Oh,
you had to unring them somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so is this something that's going to be rolled out for the rest of your harnesses in the future?
So usually it'll start like on our high-end harness, and then technology usually ends up trickling down. Like that's kind of how it works. So for right now, it's just on the AirNet. We're doing a men's and a women's, which is cool. So a high-end harness. So this will be our highest end sport climbing harness in the line.
Now, Colin, one thing we were chatting about yesterday when you were telling me about the harness is that you guys have had a real focus on the Olympics when constructing this. And presumably that means you need to think about stuff like logos because there's rules on what you can put on your harness.
Exactly. So as far as we know, it's pretty exciting because climbing's obviously never been in the Olympics, so we're all just trying to figure this out. The Olympic guys are trying to figure it out and we're trying to figure it out with them. So there's a couple things that are interesting. In order for an athlete to wear a product at the Olympics, it needs to be available to the end consumer 6 months prior to the start of the games. So the Olympics is in July, so this needs to be available in January. So that's one reason it's available in January. As well, there's regulations to the size of the logos you can put on the harness. And I can't remember exactly the square centimeters, but I'm pretty sure we're within spec here, but we have not yet submitted this for approval from the Olympic Committee.
What I like about it is the fact that I, as a punter, can go into a shop and buy the same harness that Adam Ondra is going to have in his bag when he comes. That's awesome.
Exactly. That's kind of the whole point, I think. Yeah.
I'm always wary of talking about competition harnesses because I know, for example, Petzl have their Honduras and it's very lightweight, but people use it for everything.
Of course, yeah.
Do you envisage climbers using this harness not just, for a lead World Cup, but also just out on the crags?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think this is going to end up being the sport climbing harness out there. It's really comfortable, really breathable. I don't think you're going to see people like ice climbing with this harness or mountaineering. It doesn't have ice clipper slots. It's not really designed for that. But as far as sport climbing and comp climbing, it's going to be awesome.
Cool. Well, I know you've got Fanny Gibert climbing around the corner. She's on the BD team.
Yes.
And she's an example of an athlete who this has been designed for.
Exactly.
So I think I'll leave you here. I'll go and find Fanny Gibert and find out sort of an athlete's perspective on this new product.
Awesome.
Fanny Gibert, lovely to see you again. Now, we should explain, I said at the beginning of the show that this was a preview of a product because what you're wearing, the Air harness, hasn't even been released. And this is the first time you've worn it today, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so I know you can't give me an in-depth analysis of it, but on initial first impressions, how does it feel on you?
It feels good, it's really comfortable, and today it's really warm, and I think it's not that sweaty that the previous harness I was wearing. It looks nice and simple.
I suppose you want that simplicity is the key because my climbing harness has got ice screw bits and big thick back webbing sections. You don't want that. All you're doing is trying to send the hardest route possible. You don't need all the extra parts on it.
Yeah, especially for training, we don't even wear a quick draw. So yeah, the simplest it is, the best it is.
Awesome. Well, I know there's a long way to go before the Olympics. Best of luck. We're being based in France. You're kind of one of our favourites to qualify, so best of luck for that. Hopefully see you on the podium somewhere in Japan.
Yeah, thank you so much, and hopefully, as you said, I'm keeping training a lot and yeah, enjoying it.
So there we go, Black Diamond smashing onto the world of the ultralight harnesses with the AirNet. Now this isn't available yet, it'll be coming spring next year, and when we get our hands on it, we'll be sure to bring you guys a full review. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.